So I do want to answer a few questions, of course. I also want to tell you a quick story. And I gotta tell you, it starts with a lot of excitement and then it doesn't end so well. And then it became exciting again for a different reason. How's that for a hook? That's clickbait right there, but you're here watching anyway, so you don't have to click anything. Okay, so here's the quick story. So I was invited to speak at an event, and this event was happening in Chicago. I'm not gonna mention the name of the event because I don't wanna make them look bad, but how's that for an intro? But I was really excited because I got invited, I was gonna speak on stage, and I was also apparently I was allowed to pitch on stage too, which I've never done before and I wasn't gonna do here. I don't really do that. I like to go on stage, provide value, have people come back to my brand and then offer them something from there after we've gotten to know each other, right? Like I wanna go on a date with you first before, you know, I ask you on the second one and the third one, and then we kind of get married and have kids and stuff. Anyway, so I got invited to this event, and what was really cool was the person said, hey Pat, I have 25 tickets that you can give away to your own audience. And you can have them come out, you can meet them, you can do little meetups there, but I'd like to invite some of your Team Flynn members there too. And I was like, wow, that's really crazy. Like that's such a cool opportunity. Thank you so much for that. I didn't think twice, 25 tickets, and they were being sold for like $150. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money that you're giving. That's like, you know, over $3,000. Thank you so much for that. And so I invite a whole bunch of people and we come in, and apparently this whole event literally was a pitch fest. And by pitch fest, for those of you who don't know what that means, that is essentially every speaker, and this was early in my speaking career, so I didn't even know these things existed. I couldn't imagine something like this existed, although looking back, it's like kind of obvious. And apparently this is more common than regular conferences. But with 450 or 500 people in the audience, every speaker came up, they told a brilliant story, they hooked the audience, and then they pitched their product. And sometimes their products were $2,000, $5,000. There was even one that was like $9,999. But for you today, it's only $7,997. And that's sort of what happened, right? And then I started thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I invited like my favorite people here and now they're getting pitched. I felt so bad. So I took them all out for lunch later to just apologize for that, which, you know, they understood. They knew that I didn't know that that was going to be the case. Well, I ended up speaking on stage. And I was like, how can I really make an impression here? And it was very simple. Everybody was pitching. I wasn't going to pitch. In fact, I was going to highlight that, but I didn't want to be like, hey guys, you know, everybody came up here and pitched, and I don't believe that. So I'm going to not pitch and kind of, you know, perhaps not make so good relationships with those people who spoke before me. So what I ended up doing was I changed my slides so that, like everybody else, it seemed like I was going to pitch something. Like I led into it. I started telling stories and started talking about price points and all this kind of stuff. And then eventually it went from like 10,000 to 5,000. Like I didn't even say what I was selling because I just made up something to 2,000 to 1,000 to $50 to $0. And essentially I just gave what I was talking about away for free, which I already had in existence. And I literally got a standing ovation for doing that. And so by leading people to think that I was going to pitch something and then basically saying, ha, just kidding, it really made a big impression. And I think that was really cool. A side story, this was the same event that I went to. I don't know if you've heard this story before, but I lost my wedding ring, this wedding ring right here. I lost it as soon as I got there. It was raining and my hands were cold because it's Chicago. And I lost it. I went to the hotel and I started like asking people around, like, hey, have you seen this ring? And I had people crawling on the floor looking for it at the hotel. And then my friend was going to pick me up, Steve Nixon, who is a jazz musician who I've actually interviewed on the podcast before. He picked me up. We were going to dinner and I went to him and I was like, Steve, I'm so sad. I lost my wedding ring. What am I going to do? It's unique. There's some engraving in it. Like my wife's going to kill me. And then I remembered when I got off the train that I kicked something, and I thought it was like a bottle cap. It made like a dinging noise, and I didn't think anything twice of it. But I had remembered that moment. I asked Steve to take me back to the train where I got let off, and I looked around, there was nobody there, and in the rain, there was a glimpse of light from the ground, and I picked it up, and it was the ring. Like 4 hours later, it was there. And it was just the most magical moment. And then I got back to the car with Steve, and he's like, hey, man, did you find it? And I was like, I found it. And he's like, are you serious? I didn't believe you were going to find it. Like, I was encouraging, but I didn't think you were going to find it. Anyway, I found the ring, and yeah, that was a weird, epic trip.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.